Currently 8 malls for 8 watch, 14 malls and 14 watches to come. Today, you really don't need watches to tell time. I mean, your phone tells time, your laptop tells time, your car tells time. I mean, even your microwave tells time. So why do people still buy watches? Some watches are horological masterpieces because they are created with precision, craftsmanship, history. Some people wear it like a jewelry. For me, watches are personal timekeepers. They remind you of a certain time in life. For example, 20 years back when I started my career, my salary was 10,000 rupees. I was happy, I was excited. And at that time, I had believed that I had arrived in life. Fast forward 20 years, now if I am wearing a Rolex Pepsi, whose retail price is 10 lakh rupees or 1 million rupees, and resale price is 20 lakh, and you still won't get it, then this watch, my friends, is not telling the time of the day. It is actually showing my time today. Talking about time, in the year 2021, we at Prestige Group sold 8 malls. As a process, we had to let go of those 8 malls. I wanted to mark that time. I wanted to create a memory. So I bought 8 watches for each mall that we sold, like 8 watches for 8 malls. And I'd like to show you those watches. But the interesting thing is that if I had to buy those watches again, the same 8 watches, I would have had to pay double the money. And even then, I wouldn't have got it. And I'd like to take you through those watches. The first watch that I bought in Jan 2021 was Zenith El Primero. The interesting thing about Zenith El Primero, it's an open heart movement. The uniqueness of this watch is that Rolex used this movement, Zenith El Primero movement, in their Daytona model from 1988 to 2000. So only after 2000, they started putting their own movement in Daytona. So it looks more beautiful from behind than in front. My next watch was IWC Pilot. It's very unique. It has a brown dial. It's called Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I actually saw this watch first time in Florence. I was walking with my wife in the high street, and I just saw this in one of the windows of the stores, and the way the sunlight was falling on this brown dial. And this was probably the last piece in India, because after that, this brown dial is discontinued, and hence it's a collector's piece now. You can't get it. So the next one is big one. I didn't think that it'll ever happen. A friend of mine said it'll happen, you just make a call. I made the call and Allah did the rest. So that was Rolex Pepsi. Of course, this is one of the hottest Rolex watches there in the world today, and every time I wear this watch, something funny happens. Sometimes I meet some watch connoisseurs in some stores. I was in UB City in Simpson store, and one watch collector came, and then he said, would you like to sell this watch, because I want to buy. You name the price and I buy right now. So that happens with this watch. It's crazy. And sometimes when I'm in my flight, people come up to me and say, I have seen this watch in magazines and videos. I've never seen it in front. Can I see? Sometimes I get scared when I wear this watch. And almost all celebrities, film celebrities, even in India, they have this watch, Rolex Pepsi GMT Master 2. The next one was a very unique watch, Omega Moon watch. The first expedition to moon happened, so they wanted to have a watch because they had to time, because to see how much oxygen they have, and they timed it based on the seconds. So they used to say, we have so many seconds of oxygen left in us. They invited watch brands to pitch for that, and Rolex and many other companies created watches for them, and Omega won the order. And then the first 3 men who landed on moon, they wore this watch, and this watch is still there in NASA, and they have created this craters kind of zone. I have, of course, put a rubber strap because of this white hands going with them, and I wear it on sometimes casually on jeans and t-shirt. My 5th watch is, of course, the Japanese answer to Swiss luxury watches, Grand Seiko. It's called Snowflake. And again, my luck, they don't make these gold markers anymore. The same watch is available today for about almost 50% more price. It comes in silver markers. So this gold markers was one of the last pieces. So the unique thing is the surface of this watch dial is created with Shinju factory, where they have in Japan, it snows a lot, and the way the snow settles on the surface, on the landscape, they created the dial in that design. Of course, it is Japanese spring drive movement, which is again very, very superior movement. And it is a collector's item. People respect this watch a lot, Grand Seiko. Please don't confuse this with Seiko. And then after that, I felt like I have bought a lot of sports watches and I don't have a dress watch, and I have to buy a dress watch. So I bought one of the most iconic dress watches in the history, and of course I had to buy this because it also has a relationship with India, because the idea of this watch came from India, and that's JLC Reverso. It's called Reverso because it has two dials. So this is one dial, and then you can just turn it and flip it, and it's another watch. And you can also change the strap. So, but when this watch was made, it was for the sport of polo, because when Britishers, they used to play this game polo, and then while playing that game, they used to damage their watches, and watches was something very important those days. So JLC invented this. This is a watch, so they can turn it around, and it will usually steel here, so that they can turn it around and play the game of sport. It won't damage, and then after the game is over, they put it back. And then after that, people started using it as a dual watch. So if they are two time zones, if they are traveling or they want to refer a time of a different zone, they'll just see the time and put it back. But nowadays, it's just used as two different personalities or two different attitudes. And another dress watch that I bought after that, one of the oldest watch brands called Blancpain, and more than 200 years old. And they also say that a dress watch should have a few characteristics, like it should be a manual wind, and it should be slim, and so on and so forth. So one of the most respected watches, of course, owned by Richemont Group. Now coming to the last one, which is another Rolex, the most famous tool watch in the whole world. A watch which almost every celebrity will have in his wardrobe, in his collection, which is the famous Rolex Submariner date. I can just wear this anywhere, everywhere, holidays, dive, add it to my collection. So that's about it. These were the 8 watches that I bought. Of course, I have many more watches, but every single time I wear them, it reminds me of 2021 and what happened in those 6 months. So, however, I have to mention a few people which help me understand watches and collect watches, and of course not just these and all the watches that I have been buying. One is Tanveer Sheikh, my ex-colleague and a good friend, a crazy watch enthusiast. And second is Mr. Manoj Gupta of Ethos, who's also a good friend. He has immense knowledge and he guided me in understanding watches and buying. And of course, last but not the least, Mr. Sharjeel Nawaz Khan, who's also a personal friend, and of course the owner of Zimson Watches, is my mentor, guide, and of course many more people, but these 3 I had to mention in particular, because without these 3 I wouldn't have had these or all the other watches that I have. The interesting twist to this story would be, inshallah, very soon, maybe by 2030, if I'm still here, I'll make one more video, because we are building 14 more malls. And when we complete the 14 malls, and I want to go on one more shopping expedition like this, but only problem is this box will be small, because it's 14 malls, so 14 watches to banta hai. So I have to now make a big list which watches they will be, and then of course set aside a huge amount of money, because these are some very expensive pieces. So 1 mall for 1 watch, currently 8 malls for 8 watch, and 14 malls and 14 watches to come.